Gotta talk fast. Gotta talk fast. Gotta talk faster, faster, faster. Gotta talk fast.
Welcome to an oral review of Archie Comics' Sonic the Hedgehog. Hitler would have loved America's tiered healthcare system. Hitler sucks. If you agree, support universal healthcare / Medicare for all. I'm Nick, and except for this intro, I wrote the script.
And I'm Dominic, and except for this intro, I haven't read any of today's script.
Before we go into this, I have a rant. I'm fucking pissed. You know what sucks?
He froze. He fucking froze.
Can you hear me? Oh, no. Can you, am I back?
Yeah, you literally cut. It was so funny from my end. It was like, I have a fucking rant.
Big Airbnb knows what I'm about to rant about. It's saying I don't have internet connection, so this is gonna be welcome to hotels in America, baby. I'm able to Google. Can you talk?
Check 1 2. Hello. Check 1 2 1 2 1 2.
All right. I still don't see you, but you see me. So my upstream seems to be fine. I think it's my downstream.
Okay.
I lost the groove. I was gonna go on a rant about how much Airbnb sucks, but I don't.
How does it suck?
I don't have the juice.
Like what's
okay. I've had nothing but bad experiences with Airbnb. I'm gonna start with my trip to West Hazelton. I mean, I'm not there now. I can dox it, right? West Hazelton, Pennsylvania. If you ever find yourself in that town, they have actually a pretty good bagel shop in there called Bagel Buddies. I recommend it. Shout out to Bagel Buddies. Airbnb I got there was like 40 minutes north in the ski mountains. It was clearly just someone's like ski lodge for that they use over the winter, and they tried to make some extra money on it by doing Airbnb. So it's like a bunch of pictures of this dude's family. Like I was sleeping next to a giant picture of one of the kids when they were like 2 years old, just sitting on the nightstand. Real creepy, real weird vibes.
Yeah.
I got there. Mold in the refrigerator from whoever was there last. A bunch of used like soap and razors and stuff in the bathroom. A used condom wrapper in the bed. They didn't they didn't provide sheets, so I had to go out and buy my own sheets for the beds at that Airbnb.
How much was this?
It was a lot. I don't know offhand because I don't book them. I just tell my boss, hey, book them, chief. And she does.
Book them, Dono.
Yeah. Bake them away, toys. Anyway, but I mean, that one, it sucked. It wasn't great. It was annoying. No real issues outside of clearly no one cleaned it before getting there, but annoying. Last Airbnb I stayed at in Ohio was fine-ish, but there's literally no table. Like in the whole house, there was no table. And work I needed it to. I was like sitting on the floor trying to work and at a coffee table. It's very annoying.
Bed. Breakfast in bed.
I did actually. I ended up doing it on, they had like a recliner couch that I like kind of maneuvered in a way where it was like a bed. And then this is the lead up to the Airbnb I was at in Houston, Texas. So where I'm at now, and as you can see, I am in a hotel, not an Airbnb. So I get there and there's this like weird smell, right? And it's like a weird, I want to say like decaying smell, like if like rotting. If that's probably the right way to describe it. Couldn't identify it. I walk around the house and I find mold in the washing machine. So I just kind of assumed it was that. Let the Airbnb people know. And they're like, yeah, we'll get someone out there. And I was like, cool, I don't want to be around because I don't like talking to people. So I went for a walk and had a long dinner. Got back, still mold there, but whatever. Go to sleep, wake up the next morning, I feel fine, go do my job, whatever, come back, and this like weird smell is there, and it feels like more intense. I ignore it, I go to bed, and then like at, I'm gonna say 11 p.m. I get like this really bad headache, and I can really smell that smell now. And I start looking around, and I find these like little white balls all over the place. They're called mothballs, for those who don't know.
Oh, okay. I was like, are you not talking about mothballs? Just mothballs are. Otherwise, this sounds really terrifying.
Well, I've never seen mothballs before. I had no clue what they were. I mean, I know what mothballs are, but like I've never been around them. I never had moths, and they're all over this house. I had 3 underneath my bed, 2 in the closet, and this was like a master bedroom that had 2 closets, and so there's another one in that closet. They're at every single window seal and in the bathroom and whatnot, and I just have this like pounding headache. I go outside, get some fresh air, and I start feeling a little bit better, and I'm like, oh, you know what? It's probably whatever these like white balls things are like giving me a headache. And I clear up, try to go back inside, open up windows, turn on fan, put the mothballs, like I stuff them all into a single closet. And I can still smell them, like even like opening up windows, turning on fans and stuff, and I just have like this headache that just doesn't go away. It comes back, I should say. So like 4 a.m, I leave, go to a Waffle House, and then I text my boss. I'm like, yeah, they've got a bunch of mothballs here. That are like making me sick. I don't know if I'm like just hypersensitive to it. I asked I left. I took all my clothes in the suitcase and left, and then got this hotel and whatnot. And I opened up the suitcase, and they still smelled like mothballs. Like the clothes still smelled like mothballs. Like 24 hours later. And I was like, I literally took one of my sweaters and I brought it up to a coworker. And he's a smoker, so I don't know if I can trust his opinion or not. But I was like, do you smell this? And he's like, this smells like nothing to me. I'm like, okay, well, maybe I'm hypersensitive to this one specific smell. I have an uncle who's like really allergic to or sensitive to like perfume smells. Like if you start spraying Windex next to him, he needs to leave the room. He's like that sensitive to it. So I'm like, maybe I've got like a version of something like that. Not as sensitive as him, but every now and then maybe there's like a few smells that are like that. I literally I had to wash my clothes twice to get the smell of mothballs out.
Oof.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I've never had mothballs either in any place I've been to, but I thought I remember going to like a science retreat, like a forest preserve educational program in grade school. I was like, hey, these are moths. I was like, oh, okay, cool. And yeah, that freaking sucks, dude. Like did you or your boss report that? Like,
well, and so I was like, I can't, I mean, I don't know what to do here. And she's like, well, we're not going to get a refund for mothballs. And I'm like, I don't know. I feel like we should, because that whole place smelled like death.
Yeah, between the mothballs, the moldy and
washing machine. Yeah.
The razors left. It wasn't just in the trash. It was left out.
The razor stuff was a different site.
Okay.
That one was West Hazelton. This is Houston, baby.
It'd be really funny if there was like a dead body rotting just underneath the floorboards, and that's what you were.
I had that thought at a certain point where I was just like, I think there's a basement here that it's locked. I can't go into. Maybe there's just
like
a bunch of dead bodies down there. Yeah,
there's like a serial killer, like sweating balls, and like, oh, he just thinks it's mothball. Oh, thank God, he's an idiot.
Oh, thank God. Yeah, right. Or like you go in the basement, there's like 100 mothballs all over this like dead body to make it seem like it's mothballs that you're smelling.
He's the Mothman.
Oh no, that would have been in Pennsylvania if he was there.
I'm just gonna do something real quick. I'm on the Airbnb Wikipedia, and there's a whole section called Criticisms and Controversies, and I'm gonna read off every single topic.
That's going to be like 10 hours.
Effects on housing affordability. Inclusion of listings in Israeli settlements. Criticism by the hotel industry. Lack of loyalty program. Objectivity of guest reviews. Joe Gebbia, a founder. Joe Gebbia's work for Doge. Response to activities of far-right extremists. Sponsorship of the 22 Winter Olympics in Beijing, and the length of terms of service agreements. That last one's small, but it does say it has 55,000 words, or about the size of a short novel.
I legitimately, I've never used Airbnb. I don't even have an account. I've always been the guy that's like, hey, you guys should book whatever this is, and I'll pay you.
Yeah.
So it makes me feel better that I've taken that stance, because that sucks.
It's genuinely a terrible business. Just the mere concept of it is just so exploitative on so many levels. You know, a lot of it for the reasons I just read off without going into much detail, of course. But still, I would hope a lot of that would be self-evident, that this is, you just think of the worst excesses, such as what Nick's story is, and it's pretty bad. I have this was like a 5, 6, 7 years ago. I did use Airbnb a number of times, and I've had good experiences, but I've known and heard so many bad experiences, and just like the economics of it and how bad it is. I'm like, maybe we should just stick to hotels. I think hotels need a renaissance, you know?
Yeah. I mean, say what you will, when something goes wrong in the hotel room, I can at least complain and they fix it right away, or they'll move me to another room. Right. With Airbnb, I have to wait for someone to come out, and it might not even be that day.
And a cleaning fee? Did you have a cleaning fee?
So yeah, I have not paid attention to like any of the Airbnb requirements, but I do know that there are some that have cleaning fees and stuff. I mean, I just think back to the West Hazelton one, where I was just like, they required me to bring my own like mattress sheets. It's like
that's I don't know if that's the standard. If it is, that's
it's
insane.
Not.
Okay, good.
I've talked to a lot of people. No one has ever heard of that before. What I'll say is, so what my company ends up doing to save money is they'll do an Airbnb, and I'll be in it, and like I'll be in there with a coworker or contractors or something. I don't know if that's legal or not. I've never thought about it, because it seems kind of weird to be putting all these whatever. But for the West Hazelton one, I was like, people are flying in from another state. They're not bringing their sheets. Like, that's fucking insane. I mean, we just bought sheets and expensed it to the company, but I was still like, this is dumb. That was my...
According to the West Hazelton, Pennsylvania Wikipedia page, in the year 2000, there were 79 Hispanic people in West Hazelton.
West Hazelton is, you don't go there if you don't have to. Okay,
but in 2020, they now make up a majority of the population.
Well, that's good. I was gonna say, I thought I saw at least some. But
it's still a decaying like Rust Belt town, right?
It has real mafia vibes. What I'll say is that I'm not going to say too much, actually. I'll tell you personally, but
you get whacked.
Yeah, no. There is only like 1 or 2 building companies in the area, and it seems like they have like a real monopoly on everything.
Yep, that sounds right.
Yeah, and from what I understand, maybe one of the people used to have mafia ties. I don't know. I was just talking to local contractors in the area. You know how you start talking to people and they're just like, oh, yeah, I've been working here for a while, and let me tell you this fuck shit and this fuck shit. I'm like, yeah, that sounds fucked. Keeping it vague. Don't want to get sued.
Yeah.
But
speaking of shitty towns, let's talk about a shitty Sonic story. Unless you have something else.
I don't think this is shitty.
Okay,
I don't think it's great, though.
We're going to have some disagreements here today. But anyway, that's the episode. If you want to contact us, no.
Come back next week when we actually do Sonic issue number 29.
We have 500 something odd issues to go through, and we're still doing filler episodes. That'd be so funny.
Oh, man.
All right. So I'll just get right into it. Here we go. We are reading Archie Comics Sonic the Hedgehog number 29, released in September of 1995 and published in December of 1995. Steel-Belted Sally. Once upon a time, majestic dragons roamed the skies of Mobius, flying and living free, until Robotnik cast his evil shadow upon the planet and the dragons vanished. All roboticized, including one named Sabrina. But Sabrina's
Sabina, thank you. Not Sabrina.
Okay, well then fucking put it on the goddamn script.
Does it say Sabrina? It might have autocorrected.
Sabina, okay. Including one named Sabina. Are you looking it up? Don't look it up.
Was I right?
You were right.
Did you miss it? Yeah, I had a feeling that you misread that one because I went back and fixed it.
All roboticized, including one named Sabina. But Sabina's daughter survived, the last of the dragons. Now she has joined with Sonic and the Freedom Fighters in their battle to make Mobian skies free once again. Dulcie is a grayish-bluish dragon with a salmon-colored accent color, coloring her chest and wings. She has
I'm thinking about writing a novel.
That's a whole Airbnb agreement. She has a kangaroo pouch, which one can only assume will be used to store an infinite number of items. Her hair is the same salmon color in the shape of a mohawk, and she has a nose ring like a bull. Having been in Texas for the last week, I feel I can talk on this nose ring definitively, since the cowboy lifestyle has seemed to have taken root. I say ma'am now, and I tip my hat as a sign of respect. I tend to always have wheat in my mouth being chewed on, and I say, there's a snake in my boot, at least once a week now, though to be fair, I've said it once, and I've only been here for a week. Cattle had the nose ring installed at a young age to make them easier to control. A rope is tied to the nose ring, and when the cattle need to be led in a certain direction, they are used to control misbehaving cattle. But then, the nose is an incredibly sensitive part of the nose, and as it turns out, cattle do not like sensitive parts of their body being yanked on. I should point out there are other types of non-permanent nose earrings, but for the purpose of today's discussion, we'll leave the conversation there. I should say, that was not Texas. That was not Texan. That was more like...
I liked whatever that was.
That was right. More like... that was more like Southern lawyer. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, kind of. Yeah.
What did you say? I'm sorry, what did you say?
I said sometimes it's more about what feels right, not what is right.
It's true.
I feel like I might have missed a sentence in there, but it's fine. Keep on going.
This leads to my first question about the race of dragons. The opening panels on this comic show of Robotnik's invasion. The first panel, dragons roam the sky peacefully. However, they all have the nose rings. The next panel shows the invasion. Hovercrafts are shooting lasers at the dragons and destroying everyone. Sabina flying off with Dulcie in her kangaroo pouch, both with nose rings. What does this say about dragons? Do they use the nose rings as a source of control within their own race? Or is there another subspecies of dragon? Or animal, I suppose it doesn't have to be a dragon, that is controlling the dragons? What are their cultural rituals that have led to the nose ring to be put on every dragon? My second question about the dragons is, how did they lose to Robotnik? They all can literally breathe fire. This leads me to believe that this was once a pacifist race, but not always. I believe the dragons once ruled the skies with an iron fist, only to have a group of warriors, perhaps the echidnas, since they seem pretty extinct, conquer them, and made them coexist with the world. However, as punishment, all dragons must have the nose rings installed to control them in case they ever get out of line again. This is, of course, just a theory. We open on Sonic riding Dulcie, flying through the sky, dodging attacks from a hovercraft. That hovercraft is a plane in the neck, huh, Dulcie? Oh, yeah. What does she
Is it
give
like
off?
every single... Oh, I see what you're thinking.
First of all, it is every single name, but also what's the vibe here?
I don't like what I originally thought.
What did you originally think?
My mind instantly went to like a Goofy-esque.
I would just object because the Boomer's here.
Oh yeah, that too. Yeah.
Sorry, that's a dead name. Rotor.
Oh yeah, it's gross.
This is probably just because I came back from the Day of Visibility in Chicago, but she's kind of given like a 47-year-old woke mom vibes.
Yeah. Okay.
No, I don't even know what that accent is.
She's a smoker.
She's
raspy.
No. What else we got?
I don't know. I kind of like smoker. She breathes fire, you know.
That's true. What is a smoker
that can't
sound?
be good for her lungs.
Oh, that's a great point. Hold on. Okay, so how was... That hovercraft is a plane in the neck, Dulcie. Oh, fuck. I know what to do, Sonic. Hang on.
All right. I see it. I see the vision.
I really hope this is not a recurring character, because
she's a freedom fighter now, dude. I expect her to be in every issue.
Dulcie flies straight towards a cliff and dives at the last second, leading to the hovercraft crashing into the side of the cliff. Dulcie lands and Sonic moves to check out the crashed hovercraft, where he finds what looks to be a remote control. Meanwhile, in the heart of Robotropolis, we see Robotnik yelling at Snively in his control room. Snively! What's keeping hovercraft number 4069 nice? It should have returned 10 minutes ago. It appears to have crashed, Dr. Robotnik. What? That craft was carrying a portable de-roboticizer, not to mention my supply of super shine head polish. If that device falls into the wrong hands, it could have grave consequences, especially for you. Snively activates the self-destruct sequence on the hovercraft, with Sonic barely escaping at the last second. Dulcie and Sonic head over to Knothole Village to give Rotor the de-roboticizer device. All the freedom fighters are now standing in a circle, talking about said device. Rotor declares that there's just enough power left to use the de-roboticizer one more time. An interesting turn of events. You would think someone that was the mechanical genius like Rotor was, he'd be able to reverse engineer what could be the greatest device the freedom fighters have ever found, or figure out how to recharge the device. Really anything other than, we can only use this once. Ignoring Rotor's laziness, we'll move forward with the premise these writers have come up with. Sally says that the team should de-roboticize Buns. Arguably the dumbest move that she has ever suggested. Let's debuff our strongest member. Buns, not being an idiot, declines. She then suggests something even dumber, which is, let's turn one of us into a robot. A plan that I'm sure cannot backfire in any way. Sally, who has apparently lost 50 IQ points, thinks this is a great idea and volunteers for the task. We cut to a few days later on a hill near Robotropolis. Sonic and Antoine are actually in agreement that this was a really bad idea, which should signify how dumb of an idea this is. I'm touched by your concern, guys, but this is the But this is our best chance yet to sabotage Robotnik's headquarters and finally close the book on his reign of terror. Rotor walks up to Sally and puts a small device on her head behind her ear. It'll give you control of your mind even after you've roboticized, and you'll be able to damage Robotnik's power base. Big time. Sonic wishes Sally good luck, and she rushes out into a giant field where she is immediately captured by SWAT bots. End of part 1. Okay, so this is dumb.
Yeah, no, so we're gonna step back for a second before we even address a lot of things here. Let's open with why on earth would Robotnik ever make a de-roboticizer?
Yes, correct. It just no sense whatsoever.
He has one goal. One goal. And it's to roboticize everyone.
There's nothing anywhere, anyway, anyhow. Is there any situation where he needs to de-roboticize anyone? I don't understand.
Yeah. It's literally, that was not the dragons, not the fucking dumb plan.
I got a dragon ranch. I got a dragon rant.
Yeah. I wish you had a dragon ranch. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. All of those things were pretty fucking dumb. But the thing that made me the angriest was the mere fact that he would be like, you know what I need to make? A de-roboticizer. And on top of that... De-Roomba-cizer.
De-Roomba-cizer. That's really funny. How do you
it makes it so they no longer a vacuum. They're just a coom then.
If you de-Roomba-cize a Roomba, it sprouts legs and blows. That's what it does.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so the mere fact that this device exists, fucking bonkers. The fact that he gave it to a SWAT bot, even more insane. If he's making this, sure, okay, maybe he just made it to see if he could. And congratulations, you can. Why does a SWAT bot have it?
One, it makes it feel like every single rank and file SWAT bot has this device. Second, if that's not the case, let's say this is a special ship holding special cargo, right? Mm-hmm. Which they never established. We're in medias res here. They're just in the middle of a chase. If this ship has special cargo, which is like the antidote to this sickness that is roboticization, why is the hovercraft chasing Sonic and a dragon?
All right, this is my.
It should be the other way around, right? Because they're trying to intercept.
No, this is what happened. We've established that SWAT bots have at least some degree of free will, right? And maybe this was a depressed SWAT bot that he needed. He was just like, I'm done. I can't do it anymore. And because of how his programming is, he's not allowed to commit suicide. And so he gets this de-roboticizer and he's going off flying into the sunset to, do the deed because he never programmed a de-roboticizer into the programming, because why would they ever have one? So it's like a weird loophole so that he can finally rid himself of the curse that is living. And so you thought he was going to use the de-roboticizer on himself. He was going to go use it until he just happened to see Sonic flying by, and then the programming from the SWAT bot took over. He no longer has the free will. The moment there's Sonic, no longer free will. And obviously everything that happened, and he chased Sonic and Dulcie.
Honestly, I wouldn't mind because we've already broken so many rules of this world so very early. Now, granted, I know I will admit we are saying early as if the writers at the time had perspective that this thing was going to go on for 500 issues. I still think This is you have so much opportunity to play with things. Why do you need to break all of these rules? You know, with the robots having such advanced sentience and that they can turn tail. You have another one that really pisses me off that we've talked about extensively is we have mimics. We have freaking what could you call them? Realistic looking androids that can fool people.
Replicants. Right?
Thank you. That's the word I was looking for. Replicants, etc. And it's like this thing is the worst thing yet. It is the most egregious, least sensical. I don't know. They never explain it in this issue. It is profoundly a really bad idea. And I actually thought this was Ken Penders at first. You didn't put the credits in.
It was so bad.
Script by Angelo De Cesare and penciled by Art McWhinney. Just want to mention that.
I forgot to do it for the first one. I definitely did for the second one.
That's fine. That's fine. Angelo De Cesare, dude, what the hell? I do wonder if Ken was involved with that decision at all.
What happened was he was watching Ken Penders do all these crazy stories. It's like, I can fucking do that. Watch me. I can make a Ken Penders story. And this is what we got.
Even like your idea where it's like focusing on a singular rank and file swap bot that gets killed by the freedom fighters at the end. That's already a cool thing. Honestly, what you just spouted off as fan fiction reminded me of a Star Wars short story.
Why are we assuming it's fan fiction? Keep on going.
There's a Star Wars short story that is official, or at least, it was like expanded universe comic. So nebulous on whether it's official or not, but especially now. But you remember in the scene in episode 4 where they're about to fire the Death Star at Yavin, right? So this is like the clock is ticking to 0 and Luke has to destroy the Death Star just in time. And the laser's going, charging up. You see the engineers. It cuts to the engineers in the control room of the Death Star doing controls and computer stuff. And then there's a guy saying, stand by, and then it's like building the tension. You remember what I'm talking about, that scene?
I'm sure everyone listening does. So
yes, and I'm sure you do too. You just can't think of it offhand. I'm sure you do.
Yeah,
but they made a short story about that guy who just says stand by, and he's at the controls.
Yeah, that's good.
And it's good. It's really good because when he's the guy that presses the button that blows up Alderaan. He's like the guy who drops the A-bomb on Hiroshima, right? And he goes through that same thing where it's like, oh my God, he goes through guilt and he has he questions what he's doing, but he can't escape his situation. So that when it shows him in the context of the movie now, and he's saying stand by, what he's doing is just delaying for as long as possible and praying for a miracle that someone will stop him from committing another genocide on a planet-wide scale. And then the story ends with him getting blown up with the Death Star, which fulfills his wishes. And I think that's really cool and interesting, right? It's like
that's good.
There's cool things you can explore without constantly breaking the world that you have, this really cool world that you're building for yourself. I do not understand it. Funny enough, sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
No. Go. Dumb joke. Keep on going.
Funny enough, De Cesare did come up with a side character here, and they give her, I'm assuming it's a her, right?
It is a her. They confirm it.
Yeah. They give her 2 pages of backstory, and they assume the whole relationship between her and the freedom fighters. She is a fan fiction character written by an official author. This is incredible. This is astounding.
It does. It brings into question the nature of the world even more. Because now we're introducing fantasy elements, and I mean, it's all fantasy, right? But every single thing that we've seen has been based on something that was real, and now we're seeing something that's real that's based on something that's imaginary.
Yeah, that's why it doesn't vibe. That's a really good point. I didn't think about that, but you're right. It did feel off. And
it's definitely it threw me for a loop, right off the bat. Unless if this dragon's name was Fig, I'm done, because what the fuck, man?
Half of a page of the whole race's backstory, right? The whole dragon's backstory, and then literally the bottom half of that page is, and then everyone liked her, right? It's so annoying, right? I understand this is giving, like, the argument is like Mary Sue, whatever. I hate the term Mary Sue, and I think anyone who employs that is very suspicious. So don't think I'm using the term Mary Sue. I'm just saying this is a really poorly written character. I just not done well at all in this issue.
I mean, I wouldn't use Mary Sue only because, like, she
Mary
doesn't
Sue's a
do
dumb
anything.
fucking term anyway. I hate it.
Yes, you're not wrong. But the description that it describes is a real issue. It's just not with this issue because nothing happens in this issue.
No. I gave up on that a while ago.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Steel-Belted Sally, Part 2. Everything is going according to plan. Sally has been captured by the SWAT bots and is now in Robotropolis, being roboticized. Congratulations, sir. The roboticization process has been completed. I'd be overjoyed, Snively, if joy wasn't against my laws. There is one other thing, sir. This little gizmo fell from the prisoner while she was being transformed. I analyzed it and found that it's a type of neuro-overrider. It would have allowed the princess to regain her freedom of will even after we roboticized her. I want this to be clear. The chip that this whole plan hinged on has literally just fallen off. No stitching of the chip into the skin or implanting in the brain. No, this was literally held with double-sided tape and the chip just fell off. So, the freedom fighters almost tricked me again, Snively, and all because I'm so trusting and innocent. Like a shark. What was that? I said, I like the dark, sir. It's much easier to be sneakery in the dark. You spelled it sneakery.
You know what? It's a funnier line.
Never mind.
I'm fixing the comic.
Never mind. I think I'll give my first command to Princess Sally. Or shall I call you bot number 3390? How may I serve you, master? Meanwhile, outside a supposedly secret entrance to Robotnik's lair, the freedom fighters are waiting impatiently for Sonic. Sonic says we have to assume that everything is going according to plan and continue said plan. Sonic is going to go and distract the SWAT bots, and the rest of the freedom fighters are going to bring Sally back to Knothole and de-roboticize her. Sonic zooms off into the tunnels under Robotropolis. We hang back on the freedom fighters. Tails says, I can't wait to see Sally again. I really miss her. Just don't be scared when you see her robot body, Sugar Tails. It'll still be good old Sally girl underneath. Of course, based on what we know from last issue, Tails will, if anything, be more into Sally.
Am I wrong?
No, I didn't think of that aspect at all. That's really funny. And really tragic. Just then, Robot Sally walks up. We cut to Sonic, dashing around Robotnik's secret lair, distracting all the SWAT bots. He decides that he's distracted long enough and starts to leave the way he came. As he runs through the tunnels, he's cut off by Sally, Robotnik, Snively, and the now captured freedom fighters. Surrender, Hedgehog, or your fellow freedom fighters will be roboticized immediately. Surprised? Princess Sally is now finally working for me. End of part 2.
Yeah, so my whole thing is just the mere fact that, like, the chip just falls off? It just falls off?
There's actually an unintended hilarity to this, and this is a lot of credit. But I kind of want to believe that Angelo De Cesare is like poking fun at Ken Penders for how stupid and convoluted these plots can get. And so he writes a story where it's like, oh yeah, the freedom fighters plot just hinges on this. And then it immediately doesn't work because of the most like obvious like thought process ever. Right? Like
I kind of wish you didn't say this because I'm
Right?
kind of like super fucking into that idea.
like
That's great.
Like an incredible amount of credit, like leeway given to De Cesare, but man, for my sanity's sake, I'm gonna read it that way. I'm gonna read it that way. But anyway, this was they're fucking stupid. Like the freedom fighters are fucking dumb. Like
this is a pretty bad idea. All like everything has just been like bad idea after bad idea after bad idea.
We haven't touched on this yet. The sovereign monarch of our nation. Let's just give her up to be effectively killed, right?
Yeah.
Like,
well, I didn't bring this up yet, but like,
imagine Winston Churchill is like, they will fight us on the beaches. Actually, King George, just go to Germany. Which, actually, funny enough, do you know about Rudolf Hess's famous flight?
No.
Okay, so
I know Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer's famous flight.
So Rudolf Hess, different Rudolph.
Is it similar?
You know what? Kinda. Rudolf Hess was effectively the number 2 Nazi for a long time, from the Nazis' rise to power through the very early part of the war. Right?
Do you want to know who the third Nazi is? Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Or I could do a callback. I was debating whether or not to do a callback. I was going to say Walt Disney.
One of my favorite clips. But Rudolf Hess, he was effectively the number 2 Nazi. During the early parts of the war, this is pre-America being involved. And it's France has fallen, and now it's just the UK. It's the UK standing alone in the West versus the Nazis. And Rudolf Hess thinks to himself, as in many ways vice president of the Reich, he goes, I can fix this. So he requisitions a single seat plane, flies in the dead of night over enemy skies into the United Kingdom, crash lands, gets out, goes to this random farmer, because he doesn't know where he's going, right? He goes to this random farmer and he's like, I need to see this Duke, this British Duke. And the farmer's like, okay. Immediately reports him to the authorities, which he should. And the authorities are like, there's no fucking way this is Rudolf Hess. Are you fucking kidding me? There's no fucking way this is Rudolf Hess. And then the next time any of the Nazis see Rudolf Hess is at Nuremberg. And they're all like, what the fuck were you think of this fucking guy? Or like, are you fucking, what the fuck were you thinking?
I fucking love this. Oh my god, what a cool dude. I mean, he's a Nazi, so he's not cool.
Of course.
But this is about as cool as you can be while sucking.
I know, it's a podcast guy, telling funny history stories on a podcast. I want to be clear. That is about as close to the truth as I can possibly put it. He genuinely believed he could just meet up with this German sympathizing Duke in the UK and make peace on his own.
Well, so this is the thing with fascists is they're all really fucking dumb, and they all think they can just be like, oh, I can think it. Honestly, that has such like fucking well, no, Vance wouldn't go and fly a plane. But like the core idea, mentality, the mentality is still
it's like
exactly
Musk,
the same.
where it's like I can fix
Musk
it.
is a better,
I mean, look, arguably Doge was never really about fixing anything, and never really was. But just the mentality of like conservatives and like high up administration officials who think they can do what other people have been training their whole lives to do and are problematic in and of themselves, but at least they have like the career experience to make this fucked up American system, which is still a system, work. but we're not there anymore. We have full on fascism, right? It's that famous saying. I forget what it's like. You can fool as a fascist. You can fool people into thinking that 2 + 2 = 5 in order to win an election. You can do that, but you can't fool people into thinking 2 + 2 is 5 to calibrate a machine gun to win a war. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
Where it's like, oh, no, the reality of the situation is we actually need to win this war, and we can't do it. So what we're going to do is we're going to spend monstrous amounts of resources on killing our own citizens that could have been useful in concentration camps instead of, the war effort, and a variety of other things. But, yeah.
Yeah, fascists are going to fascist.
They're going to fascist.
There's something I forgot to bring up earlier, to bring it back to Sonic.
Yes.
The thing I found really funny about this is they have a way to save Uncle Chuck. Yeah, and they completely ignore it. Isn't this like part of the whole thing? Like Sonic's whole thing is he wants to save his uncle. The device to do that literally falls in his hand, and they're like, what if we just roboticize the Queen? What if? Like, it almost feels like someone said it as a bit, and someone was like, that's a good idea.
The entire purpose of Uncle Chuck as a character, and Mutsky, right? We've not seen in a hot minute, which is, I guess, okay, whatever. We don't need to be reminded of them.
We've only seen him in like a flashback.
Yeah.
No, right? Not even a flashback. It was a dream of a Christmas Carol, and like that was it. I guess in the prequel, but I still stand by the fact that the prequels don't count.
Right? Sure. The whole purpose of Uncle Chuck as a character is to give Sonic the Hedgehog hard motivation, a living, breathing motivation to cure roboticization. And Eureka, it's right there in front of them. And you're right. He doesn't bat an eyelash. He doesn't think about it at all.
He doesn't even say the name Uncle Chuck.
Now, it's pure. This is a lazy and hastily thrown together plot device for this dumbass story that so many implications, but none of them come to any. There's no thought given to it at all, and then no implication. None of it plays out effectively. This is a nothing burger, despite introducing this extremely important thing.
Yep.
Shall we move on?
Ready for part 3?
Yeah. Steel-belted.
We have an email, but I don't think we're getting to it today.
No, I don't know. I don't think so either. Steel-belted Sally, part 3. Sonic and the Freedom Fighters are now captured. We see Robotnik stomping on a device. Crunch! There. The device you attempted to use to keep the princess's mind free is crushed, and so is your rebellion. The only reason we haven't roboticized the lot of you is that we know you have one of our dear roboticizers. So where is it? I traded it in for a picture of Robotnik. Never know when I'll have to blow my nose. I mean, you fool. You'll tell me what I want to know, and when you're standing inside a roboticizer. An admittedly strange plan by Snively and Robotnik. After all, they have admitted the only reason why they haven't been roboticized yet is because they know the location of the roboticizer.
Am I wrong?
Nope. Leverage. The whole concept of leverage. And there's this is a style of writing that this is a mechanic of writing that convinced me or showed me that, oh yeah, I'm not a fiction writer. This is why I can't do anything like that, because there is a intricate way of cross character, cross factional motivation, right? Motivation and purpose to everything and every moment, embodying every character, right? That is not on display here at all, right? It's just not there. Okay, anyway, sorry. Let's keep reading and find out if this is a bad writing or if Robotnik has something up his sleeve. That night, as the gloomy darkness... I'm going to be honest, I don't remember how this story ends at all, except Dragon comes in. I don't remember. That night, as the gloomy darkness covers Robotropolis, we see Dulcie flying around the red, polluted skies. That's right. Oh, fuck, I'm so worried. The others never returned the knothole, and there are no bot planes guarding the skies. Oh, shit. Something weird's going on. All right, I'm going to snoop around robotics headquarters. There's a light coming from that window. Ah, boy, here we go. Dulcie peers through the window and sees the freedom fighters all captured and placed in glass tubes that they are unable to break out of. Robotnik starts speaking. I've decided to forget about the deep It's so bad. I've decided to forget about the dear roboticizer. After all, once you've all been roboticized, no one will be able to stop me. That's right. And as a symbol of Dr. Robotnik's victory, the roboticizer will be activated by your former colleague, Robot 3390. I am ready, Master. It seems if Robotnik and Snively's plan was just bad writing. We cut to outside the room with Dulcie watching. Oh, shit. All right. I bought the de-roboticizer just in case that plan failed. No, but I'm not sure how to... but I'm not sure how to use this shit. All right. Well, Dulcie, well, fuck. You'll just have to... I am thinking like full-on Midwest, like trailer trash.
You're crushing it. She's got to be drinking Old Style. And yeah.
I have seen, like, I'm not going to say full-on meth heads, but I've seen some trashy people. I have my sympathies to them, but admittedly, they are going through some shit, right? I have seen them, and the funny thing is they weren't even, like, homeless, too, but, like, they're going through some shit, and when they get excited, it's honestly a really special kind of excited. I don't know how to put it in. I'm trying to put it in right now. They just lose their English. All right, here we go. All right. Well, Dulcie, you'll just have to do the best you can. Nobody's gonna turn my friends into robots. All right, here we go, motherfuckers. Dulcie flies, nose first, into the secret lair of Robotnik, which I'm pretty sure is the tallest building in Robotropolis. Quick, roboticize the freedom fighters, Bot 3390. I command you. There's a fucking dragon here. I just pictured, like, has Robotnik seen... Actually, I think probably he did see the dragon. He did see the dragon.
Yeah, because there's the whole war. So he knows of them.
But I like to think that the fucking dragon just comes out of nowhere. And I was like, what the fuck? Okay, here we go.
He also made the bio dragon from Sally's
That's true. That's true.
Quest. I'm slowly turning into that guy, aren't I?
Just then, okay. Sonic screams out to not do it. Roboticize them, meaning. Sally seems to be having an internal struggle. Unfortunately, the programming seems to be winning as she goes to push the button. Just then, she is zapped and turned back into her furry self. Robotnik quickly runs to the roboticizer to turn the freedom fighters himself, but Dulcie blocks his path with a wall of fire. Snively and Robotnik run out of the room while Sally frees the rest of the freedom fighters. We cut back to Knothole. Yep. Sorry I didn't get the job done, guys. Hey, we're way past proud of you for even trying, Sal. Besides, it was Robotnik who didn't get the job done. That's why I fired him. The freedom fighters laugh in unison. I can only assume a freeze frame would happen and credits would roll as if this were a sitcom. The end.
You know, as soon as you said the Ken Penders thing, I can't get it. It does. This is so bad in a way that none of his other stories were. It kind of does feel like it's digging at him.
Yeah. Right.
I can't. I mean, obviously, it's speculative, but man.
We don't believe that, but there's an angle there that I just really enjoy imagining, and I guess we can keep an eye on. But man.
Because, yeah, fucking A, man. Yeah, none of this.
There's really hardly any characterization given to to Dulcie. It's a shame. What a waste.
Well, it's also like, why use Dulcie? Why are you introducing this dragon if we have all these other freedom fighters that are barely being used?
You've got the junior freedom fighters. You've got His Majesty's Secret Service or whatever it's called. Fucking Jeffrey, right? St. John.
I feel like only Ken is allowed to write him.
That's stipulated in his contract.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, I don't. It's atrocious. It is. This is. I actually genuinely believe this is the worst issue yet. At least this story. This is the worst self-contained story I've seen yet. Nothing cool happens.
I was gonna say story correct, but I'm super into the next one, the Tails thing.
Okay. Yes, this story saves this issue from being one of the worst.
I know, because this Tails one, I was low key like, wait, this might be one of my favorites.
I was dreading
this. Hardcore.
It's so funny. The tables are flipped. I was dreading the Tails story, Growing Pains, going into this issue. And I was like, well, at least maybe something interesting will happen at the start of the regular storyline, and then complete 180 here, and our audience will find out why. I'm going to go into it. Did you have anything else to say?
No, it's all more just repeats of like, what the fuck is this? So,
Growing Pains, Part 2, script by Mike Gallagher, pencil by Dave Manock. A recap of events from Sonic number 28. Angered by the juvenile treatment he was getting from his fellow freedom fighters, Tails took off on his own aboard his submarine, the Sea Fox.
Sea Fox.
Yep. I'm just glad you didn't write Sex Fox.
Hey man, you don't know how many times I have to autocorrect Hedgehog to Hedgehog to Hedgehog.
That's so funny.
I type it like I'm gonna miss it one time. I know I am. So
Tails took off on his own aboard his submarine, the Sea Fox. Tails journeyed to an unexplored island where he rescued a beautiful young female fox named Fiona. It was love at first sight. Unfortunately, it was also a trap. Fiona was one of Robotnik's automatons, robots disguised to be indistinguishable from live animals, until it was too late. We open on Robotnik and Fiona standing outside the trap that they made for Tails. Loud noises are coming from inside said trap, which implies that Tail is being roboticized as we speak. Well done, Fiona. You lured Tails into the feed tube of my camouflage roboticizer. Let's listen to his agonized screams, eh? What's this? The shrieks have stopped. Yeah, no shit, dude, because he's probably dead. Robotnik leans in towards his trap to investigate when an explosion happens, blasting open the cage that he was caging Tails in. He lives! Tails jumps out of the trap. That's right, Lord Bottom. I clogged your machine's filters with fur from my tails. I forgot that line of reasoning.
I accepted it. I was like, I
didn't, because the whole purpose of this machine is to put a furry animal through. Okay. It built up.
Maybe there was a gear that was exposed that he was able to.
Got it. It built up an overload and exploded in your face. And speaking of your face, I think I'll color it black and blue. Fucking raw Tails, get it. Tails flies at Robotnik, fist out, when Fiona's fist comes out of frame and decks Tails in the face. Tails is now on the ground, dazed. Fiona, you slugged me? You always hurt the one you love, Tails. Fiona picks a club off of the ground. My automaton is programmed to defend me to the death. Your death, freedom fighter. Fiona jumps up and attempts to do an overhead smash on Tails' head. Tails dodges at the last second. As he's flying away, he gets grabbed by a robotic coconut tree. Luckily, the tree grabbed onto his body, not his tails. He starts spinning his tails and is able to uproot the tree and swing the tree like a bat, knocking Robotnik out into the ocean. You're done for, Robotnik. Bad enough, you've polluted this planet and riven a wedge between me and my friends. But now you've robbed me of my innocence. Robotnik hauls back from the ocean. Careful, boy. Women will not only break your heart, but your back as well. Well, he was going to get to that, but you interrupted them.
Yeah, right?
Fiona tackles Tails and the two of them start fighting. Robotnik runs off, letting his automaton finish the job. Fiona and Tails are in shallow, knee-high water fighting. Tails starts making a run for his submarine, but Fiona grabs his head. Not in this lifetime, Tails. You're going down. Fiona dunks Tails' head underwater. She brings him back up. Fiona, don't do this. Remember our moonlit walks, holding hands. Fiona dunks Tails again. Tails is exhausted, barely hanging on. Once more, and I'll drown. Please, Fiona, I love. Fiona begins to dunk Tails again, but freezes. She is now stiff. I knew you couldn't do it. You love me too, Fiona. Fiona? Oh my gosh, she's rusted. Tails begins crying as he lifts the frozen body and starts bringing her to the beach. Robotnik created the perfect woman, but I forgot. But
I forgot.
He was gonna waterproof her, am I right? No. Okay. Robotnik created the perfect woman. You put women, by the way. You wrote women.
All of them would have been perfect, whatever he made.
Robotnik created the perfect woman, but forgot to waterproof her. Oh, what a cruel world. Tails leans Fiona's lifeless frozen body on a rock overlooking the ocean. I'll put you here as a monument to my lost youth, but I'll make him repair you, and we'll be together again, my love. Robotnik comically was able to hear this as he flies off in his egg ship. Ha ha! Ho ha! Extremely fat chance, you sappy little two-tailed freak. Robotnik flies. That was uncharacteristically mean of him. Like, that was aggressive.
Okay, low-key, I was going to bring this up later, but since we, interrupted the flow, I'm going to do it now. This is one of my favorite things Robotnik has ever done, because Tails' heart is broken. He's talking about his loss of innocence, and in the background, Robotnik is flying away in his, egg-like ship from, Sonic 2, full with the ball and chain. Flying behind him as he's flying away, and he's just get fucked, loser.
It's just the way he says it too. Good. Extremely fat chance, you sappy little two-tailed freak. That is an insult that usually comes with from the Freedom Fighters, right?
Yeah, well, it's he's only holding back because a child is reading this. If he was allowed to say what he truly wanted to say, he would be
fat chance, you dumb fuck.
He'd be fucking nerd as he's flying off.
Okay,
so fucking good.
Let's do the monologue. Here we go. Robotnik flies off. Tails starts looking around and sees the mess Robotnik made on the island and begins cleaning up so it doesn't pollute the ocean. Look at all this junk. Oil cans, bolts, springs, candy wrappers, a list of supplies destined for his underboss. Holy abalone! This is absolute proof that Robotnik's got a satellite operation functioning on the other side of Mobius.
Hell yeah.
I'd better get in touch with Princess Sally on my ship to shore radio. Oh, wait a minute. If I tell the Freedom Fighters about this mission, they'll take over the mission and leave me behind again. On the other hand, if I solve this case by myself, well, they'll have to admit I'm as capable as they are. So, look out, world. Here comes Tails on his own. Tails hops onto his submarine and starts sailing out into the ocean. The lifeless body of Fiona staring at him, with a singular tear rolling down her face. The end.
Man, they really saved this issue. I thought this was gonna suck. This is actually low key great. Tails is like slowly becoming one of my favorite characters. His what's the word I'm looking for? His like gusto, his willingness to always just like fly in and punch someone in the face is great.
That is pretty damn cool.
Yeah, and he keeps on like he keeps doing it to the point where I'm like, this is who he is. This is a character trait. This dude does not fuck around, and he just flies into the face of danger. And like, you could probably argue that like he's young and he doesn't understand why like he shouldn't be doing this, but he keeps on doing it.
Yeah,
and I don't give a shit. It's a good trait, and he shouldn't lose that. That's fucking good. He's like, I don't care. I'm just gonna punch you. No one else is punching Robotnik. He's the only one that makes sense.
This is such a fundamentally different take on Tails than the games, because in the games he is effectively Rotor. He's what we traditionally know as Tails and a Rotor, because he's a genius, right? But here he is aggressive. He is spunky. He makes mistakes in increasingly cool and tragic ways. This is the most tragic thing I've seen yet. That whole page where it's just her dunking him, waterboarding him in the fucking shallow water.
It was it's low key like the most intense thing that's happened in this comic yet.
Yeah. 100%. It is raw as shit.
Yeah, it's I loved everything that happened in this.
And like they're portraying the emotions that one should feel in this given moment. And like, they don't even need to say it. They don't need to spell it out for us. I can think about it right here because he's having the appropriate like emotional response, which is being heartbroken, his innocence. It is funny how he says, "You stole my innocence."
I was going to say that is my one problem with this is he's just like 180. He's like, I'm not going to say he's talking like an adult, but he definitely what he considers a love of his life betrayed him, and suddenly he's like talking a little bit more mature, and he's like, "Oh, my love, I have lost my innocence." It's like, you don't know what? You're 4 years old, so you don't know what you're saying.
I disagree, because you never had an emo phase, did you?
No,
neither did I. But I did have a Sonic fan fiction phase, and it's very emo. Like reading that and like consuming that like on the Newground Sonic like shorts, like Sonic Shorts, which is a long running series that they're still making to this day. Few and far between, but it's there, and it's a constant joke that Sonic had an emo phase, particularly with Shadow, but even just Sonic himself, and it's really just along with the butt rock, it was just really there, and so, but like that honestly, no, okay. Tails, is he like 6 years old, 4 years old, 5 years old, right? He is, yes. But the way that the writers treat everyone, you unfortunately need to add like another 10 to 15 years on top of their age. So, or like 10 years, right? So Tails he's acting like a teenager and an emo, which, or like, not like emo as in, he's listening to fucking Fall Out Boy or anything, but he's having those emotions that every young person, every teenager has in the world, that throughout all of time, not necessarily emo phase, but they felt love for the first time, and it is the literal worst thing that's ever happened to them emotionally, sure, but it's so funny compared to the breadth of a whole human life that we make fun of it and we laugh at it. So I would say that is a strangely appropriate response for someone who had such a traumatic experience. Like, this is his first, think about it. This is his first love, dude. First ever feeling of love. Okay, there were like some crushes and stuff and like other stories, but this is the first like genuine one that lasted like a whole 6 hours. And for him, that is such an intense feeling. Like, this is how GIs got, or actually, this is how Marines like today, get married in like, 48 hours and then go off and then come back and then they get divorced, right? So that's as told to me by Marines. That is how it happened. So I belabored that point, but I think it's an appropriate response.
Okay, I accept your defense. You're not wrong. I'll say that. You know, I'm coming around on it because he comes off as like an artist now, right? He sees the love of his life frozen, and the first thing he thinks is, I will put her up as a statue, as a monument for like my innocence and my love.
Nick, that's a fantastic point. Like, again, the subtext here that, no, I don't know if it's subtext, but the emotional correspondence here is that, like, when she freezes, when she stops drowning him, his first instinct is, oh, thank God you did fall in love with me. Yeah. You did love me after all. But the even deeper tragedy on top of what he's already experiencing is that, no, it wasn't even her love for him. That never existed, probably. It was simply that she rusted. She short-circuited. That is like another detail that is just another nail in the heart.
Well, I mean, for the record, we know that she rusted, didn't short-circuit, because she's still there.
Okay, sure.
Because the last panel, I didn't... Did I say this? I don't know if I wrote it.
You did. She cries. She cries.
Yeah. Which, I mean, it could be argued she's crying because of tails or because of all the pollution that was left on the island.
Really more. Well, here's the thing. It's unclear because she goes straight from trying to murder, to freeze, and then that's all we get. So,
I mean, I was doing a bit. You know what I'm talking about, right?
I know you were. But like, we don't. The real thing you're trying to say is, was it between genuine falling in love with tails, or was she not able to complete her mission? Right? We don't know yet.
I mean, I think it's falling in love. I think that's exactly what it's trying to say.
Yeah, I think so too.
Like I said, I was impressed with this one. I wasn't expecting to even like it, and it low-key ended up being one of my favorites.
It was convoluted at first, but now that we're here, and they paid it off. So Mike Gallagher, kudos to you. Well done.
And that's the issue. Only 389 left to go. I'm Nick. I stream at twitch.tv/Mojosaurus. My personal Blue Sky is at Mojosaurus.
And I'm Dominic. You can follow my jazz adventures and more in Chicago at Blue Collar Jazz. Exciting things happening on that page. And you can also follow me on Blue Sky at Dom Guan. But also, I also have the header Blue Collar Jazz and my face. So if you search for either, like, I don't think anyone else there is named Blue Collar Jazz. So just search for either on Blue Sky at least, and you'll probably find me.
You can follow us on socials at Gotta Talk Fast. TikTok is Gotta Talk Faster. We have a video version of the podcast where you can follow along with panels and watch our handsome faces. You can write into the show at sonicgrams@gottatalkfast.com, ask us questions, provide corrections, and give us your opinion of this week's episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. And remember, when life keeps going fast, you gotta talk fast and just get through it. I love you.
Gotta talk, gotta talk.
Gotta Talk Fast was written by Nick Folkerts and edited by Dominic Guanzon. Intro and outro themes recorded by Dominic Guanzon. Gotta Go Fast originally composed by Norman J. Grossfeld, Joseph Garrity, and Russell Velasquez.
Gotta talk, gotta talk. Fast. Gotta talk, gotta talk. Fast. Gotta talk, gotta talk. Fast. Gotta talk. Gotta talk. Fast. Gotta talk. Fast. Gotta talk. Fast. Gotta talk.